What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Lease Option live stream. I'm your host, Justin Chamness. I know that sounded that sounded so podcasty. Hey, and that's exactly what we are. We are a podcast coming at you to talk about lease options. That's right. And other things like creative finance type stuff. If you're into real estate and you want to do pretty house wholesaling, that's exactly what I am. I am a pretty house wholesaler. I'm on the hunt for the pretty houses because I don't like crawling up underneath all these bug infested. I was talking to another wholesaler yesterday talking about crawling through literal poop. Yeah. Not fun. Not fun at all to crawl through literal poop. But I've been in some houses that I left and I was like, I need to take a shower because I'm itchy and I don't know what's on me now. I will do ugly houses locally. I will do ugly house co-wholesaling. I like co-wholesaling a lot because I don't have to crawl up under the house. I just have to provide a buyer from my awesome buyers list. But I have been in some houses, in my career. I've crawled up underneath some things. I've been inside some houses. I wasn't sure if I was alone even. I mean, there's some real scary scenarios going on out there, especially in the world of ugly abandoned houses. I love doing pretty house wholesaling from the comfort of my own pretty house. It really does not get much better than that. Today, I want to talk to you about two particular pretty houses that, will maybe enlighten you a little bit about the pretty house wholesaling business. The first one is a house that I've seen pop up several times now. Someone submitted this one as a JV partnership, and then later on, other people have brought it to me because the homeowner's trying to contract them as well. So this house here, right away, I'm just going to let you know, I'm not a big fan of this one, okay? But let me share screens with you here. That way you can see the house that I'm talking about. This particular house is right here, okay? It looks really nice initially. Right off the bat, you're like, well, it's pretty. Well, it sure is. It sure is pretty. And man, I really like the color schemes, don't you? And I'm saying that like a joke, really, because, that's kind of what realtors would say, right? Oh, I love the color scheme. And oh, yes. It really is, though, truly, no joke. It's a pretty house. I don't know why these pictures are sideways and all of that jazz. But if you're trying to sell a house, see, this is a tip too. And if you're out there, I realize this is a for sale by owner, but if you're out there trying to list a property and your pictures are sideways, well, you got to have a spirit of excellence about you a little bit. And you should. Okay. So make sure you get your pictures on straight. But what makes this deal not something I'm hip on, other than the sellers tried to talk to several people about doing the same thing? Well, let's take a look at it. Brainerd, Minnesota. I don't know much about Brainerd, Minnesota, but I'm just going to copy it right now and put it into the Google here and see what it says. It looks like a lovely place. Okay. Looks like it's 4 hours from where I live. 14,255 population. But here's what I like to do. I like to look at the county and see what county that is. It is Brainerd, is a city and west seat of Crow Wing County, Minnesota. Okay, so I'm going to try to find Crow Wing County, Minnesota population, and that'll give us a little bit more clearer idea about where this property is. Oops, I put population. Okay, so you can see in the town there's 15,000. That's 15,000 that got counted. Okay, there's probably a lot more there now. 67,000 in the county, which is, by the way, if you don't know, that's a pretty good sized county. I mean, that's a good amount of people scattered around the county. And I believe it said back there in the research that Brainerd was the county seat. So that's nice. So far so good. Here's our first whoa though. My first red flag is it says the Zestimate's 255. But this guy's asking 320. Okay. In fact, wanting to contract it with people for lease option for even more than this. Okay, 325, 330, something like that, I think. So 255 to 320, that's an enormous spread. Okay. I mean, just do the math. That's 255 to 320 is almost 30%. Okay. Now, I just did that in my head. Now, I know you're smarter than I am out there, but in my head, that looks like about 30%. I mean, getting close. You know, after all the expenses and costs and closing fees and everything, you're looking at 30% above retail. I don't know. Let's go ahead and click the view details, though, and see what happens. You can see the estimated sales range here is 238 to 273. So they're providing a Zestimate of 255. Okay, now I know that Zillow's not always 100% right on target accurate, but let's just start here. Okay, let's look at the Zestimate history. Okay, today the property is listed for $320,000. Okay, which is way up here. You see this blue dot. Okay, and here's where it ought to be, down here on the line. Okay. So you see the line is down here, but the blue dot's way up here. That's a red flag for sure. Okay. Let's go ahead and look at some history here, though. Here's the history, price and tax history. Okay, so let's go down here and just read 11/23. It was listed here on Zillow for 320, which is up 8.5%. Well, I don't know what makes it worth so much more than every other property in the neighborhood, but that's what's happening. And then 10/17/23, a month before that, it was listed for sale for $295, which took a big jump because it had previously been listed for something much cheaper. Okay. So what's happened in a month that made it go up from $295 to $320? Don't know. Seems mad. But let me just explain here too. Unsuccessfully, it's not sold at $320. It didn't sell back in October for $295. And back in August, it was removed off of a listing. In June, it was listed for rent for $2,300, howbeit unsuccessfully. Well, how do you know unsuccessfully? Well, because it's still available right now. Okay. 6/21, it was listed for rent for $2,300 unsuccessfully. Okay. The guy bought it in 2020 at January 30th, 2020 for $178,000. Okay. So what this appears to be to me, and I do not know for certain, I am an ignorant outsider. So that is my disclaimer. But what it appears to be to me is, just off of Zillow here, an investor bought it in 2020 for $178,000, probably using private or hard money or some kind of loan. He fixed it up. He tried to list it for rent on 6/21 and make a killing every month off of it. And he failed at $2,300. Okay, probably not even a cash killing. Probably everything that he owes monthly on this payment that he's got from this hard money or private money or whatever this is. This is my guess. It's probably mostly his payment here, $2,300 a month. But that's too high for the neighborhood because you see, no one wanted to rent it, even in its nice updated condition. Now, the next thing that happened is, just take it off the market altogether, not for sale, not for rent at all. And then we'll do something to it. This is the problem. We'll fix this and this. And then now it's back on the market in October, listed for sale $295,000. Nobody wants it. Now he, in November, raises the price to $320, probably because he's bleeding on it, and he needs more and more money as time goes by to cure this loan that he took back in 2020. That's my guess. Don't know, ignorant outsider. Just my guess from reading the history, okay? So when this gentleman or lady, whoever it is, offers you, the caller, the investor guy, a lease purchase for 12 months or 24 months or whatever it is, doesn't matter, and he's offering it to you at $330 or $325, which is only $75,000 too much. He's already tried to sell it for that and can't. When he tells you that the rent for the 24 months is going to be $2,300, he already has experienced that no one wants it for that. What is he giving you? He's giving you a really overly inflated purchase price, a really high, overly inflated fair market rent, because the fair market rent on this one probably ought to be $1,800. Just a guess from here. Helicopter overview. Otherwise, this house would have rented at $2,300 because Brainerd has population enough. It's the county seat. That means it probably has a Walmart within 5 minutes. People want to live there. It has decent schools, probably. Okay, so not a big deal, but not a good deal. Okay, not a good deal. I would totally bounce on that deal. And I hope that makes sense why I say that, okay? Because it's just not going to leave any meat on the bone for me to make any money. Okay? And that's a problem because I'm in the business to make money. When? Today. All right? So I'm looking for some good deals. That's not one of them, although it appears to be on the surface. Okay, so let's take a look at another deal that I do like. And this is a deal that I contracted recently and that I will find a tenant buyer for. And you can see it right here on the screen. It is a Myrtle Beach property. This was a referral. Somebody referred this. Easy deal. I'm showing it to you today because I want to get it some exposure. Hopefully we can get some activity on it here because I'm ready to go ahead and close this deal out. We've not had it under contract horribly long already, but I'm through the holidays and I'm ready to contract this one. Okay. Now, tomorrow I'm going to show you a deal that I did close and I'll show you a check and everything. But this is one that I'm actually working on. That last deal was one I don't ever want to work on. This deal here is one that I'm willing to work on and I'm working on. And tomorrow I'm going to show you one that I did do and I closed it and got the check and I'll show you the check and everything. I'm asking for checks now, okay, instead of wires. And that way I can kind of maybe give you some motivation. All right. So here we go. This is Guinevere Circle, Myrtle Beach. You can see it was sold not that long ago to the current owner for $302,000. Now, after speaking to the owner, we realized that she's made some improvements to the property. And Zestimate here shows that it's gone to a value of $319,700. I contracted this property, and these are the old pictures, by the way. It is updated even more. It has nice hardwood flooring in it. It's beautiful, 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 beautiful property. Okay. 320 is what it says his estimate is. We contracted it for 325. I believe is what it was. 325. That's a big difference, see, than that last deal I showed you. Big, 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 big difference. Now, let's slide down here, if it'll let us. See, this estimate range is 294 to 345 here, so we're actually in the window. All right. So let's slide down here to a little further and see if there's anything else we see that pops out at us. Zestimate history and details. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. You see what we're talking about? It's green. Here's the line. Okay, what's that say? 322.7. It was bought back here as a deal. That's why it's green. Remember the last one had a blue dot? This one has a green dollar sign, which meant, profitable. Profitable, okay? So it was purchased profitable. It's still being offered at a very reasonable rate. If it was purchased at 302 mid last year, she's made some improvements and now it's worth 320, 325. That's what we have it contracted for. That's great. Let's talk about rent. Okay. What's the rent? It says here, and you can't go by this, but it says estimated refi payment $1,785. Is that an indication of rent? Not necessarily. Okay. Not necessarily. You might have better success going to Google Mortgage Calculator and putting in what it would cost to buy a property in the 340 range, because that's what I want to sell it for 24 months up the road. What would it cost the tenant buyer to get that? Well, you're going to find out it's somewhere in the ballpark of $1,800, $1,900 a month, somewhere in there. So what did I contract this one for? I contracted this one for $1,800 a month. I'm sorry, it might have been $1,850. I'd have to look at the contract just to make sure. But you see how I am definitely in the ballpark here of what would be considered good rent. Okay, good rent on a property like this. Go check it on PropStream. Go check it on Rentometer. Rentometer. Okay. Different. This is a different deal. See, that first deal, ugly deal. Couldn't rent it, couldn't sell it, way overpriced, both categories. This particular deal, not overpriced and not overpriced. Very important. Okay. Not overpriced on purchase price, not overpriced on rent. Now, it's also a pretty house. So this is a sweet deal. Okay. Now let's talk about down payment. What did this homeowner want down payment? Oh yeah, I got you now, Justin. That down payment's what I'm talking about. Probably wants $25,000, $50,000 on this one. No, the homeowner on this one wants $3,000 down. Okay. It might be $3,500. I'll have to check the contract. I start second guessing myself, but check that out. $3,500. Okay. All right. So hopefully you see that there is a deal that looks like a deal that's not a deal. But then there's also a deal that looks like a deal that is a deal. Now, those are the ones that you should be contracting. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody, because it's a hard lesson to learn in the field on the go when you're writing deals that suck and you don't know why. Now, you can see I just analyzed two deals, surface level, but kind of under surface level too. And it took me literally talking through it with you 20 minutes to do two. You should be making your analyzing in about 10 minutes. Okay. You should be doing your analyzing in about 10 minutes. All right. Hopefully that's helpful for you. If you're interested in learning more, I have a 3-day challenge coming up here. I'm loving doing these. These are so much fun. If you're a part of my coaching club, you get into this one free. But this one here is a 3-day challenge. I'm going to show you how you can really, really jackhammer Craigslist and pull deals out of it, okay? All right. Now I'm going to show you a deal tomorrow and a check if everything goes the way I planned. Where I got a deal off Craigslist recently, and I want to show it to you and how it all played out. So stay tuned, but that is the 3-day Craigslist challenge. So Craigslist is free, by the way. So if you're like, hey, I'm hesitant to get into this business because of the money, don't be hesitant to get into this business because of the money, because you can definitely start with no money. Okay. You can start at Craigslist with no money. This is how I did it. All right. I got started no money because I had no money. So get started on Craigslist with me at this 3-day challenge. It's $47 to get in on it. If you're in my coaching club, you get in free. Okay. But $47 if you're an outsider. Don't need to be an outsider anymore. Just come on in and join up, and I'm going to show you day number 1. Day number 1, I'm going to talk about the easiest way to make money in real estate. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's one of my favorite techniques of all time, and that is co-wholesaling. Okay, co-wholesaling. Let me show you here. Day number 1. The quickest money maker in creative real estate. I guarantee you, if you want to, you can have a deal in that day. Number 2, the fastest and easiest method for contracting motivated sellers with ugly houses is using a straight option agreement. I'm going to break it down because it is an old school genius hack. Okay. Now, number 3, day 3, I'm going to show you how to consistently flip pretty houses right off of Craigslist. Right off of Craigslist. That's right. So I want you to go ahead and join up with me. You can find out more information at realestatewholesalersclub.com. I also have some freebies for you over there. Please make sure you get all the freebies from me that you can. I love to give away freebies, and I'll see you again tomorrow. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.